Good evening, I'm Greer McGearey and we're here to talk about relationships within the trans community, and with me are Theresa and Leena. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to probably start with, say you Theresa, and the impact of coming out upon any previous relationship.
Prior to coming out, I hadn't been in a relationship for quite a long period of time. Some of my earlier relationships, there was some impact. I didn't fully come out, but elements of myself started to come out. And that did create some problems.
And Leena, yes?
I had problems in my relationship I was married for 30 years. And she wasn't very appreciative of some of the stories I used to read on the internet, and she wanted me to stop them, and told her I couldn't or wouldn't stop, and she still thought I was heterosexual, like a male. Anyway, she put the ultimatum up for me to leave the internet stuff alone, and I refused, and couple of months later, she gave me a letter saying goodbye, and then we separated, and it was still a little while after that before I started dressing as me. I was insecure because I was 6'2" tall and built like a fairly large person. So,
in trying to deal with yourself openly, it had a serious impact upon the relationship.
Yeah.
So with that, the separation and that, has there been an ongoing impact on, say, you and the children?
Some of them, yes, some of them not quite as much. They're not really that close, so I live my life, they live their lives. My youngest daughter phones me up. My oldest son, well, he's busy with his tattooing and stuff like that.
So it's a bit of a patchy relationship, is probably best described. Theresa, with obviously not having had a relationship for a period of time, or
yes.
When you did out yourself, what sort of things were you thinking about for the longer term once you actually decided that you would transition?
An aspect of transitioning was that I was hopeful that I would find someone, because it'd been so long for me now. I'd never been happy in any of the relationships I'd had, and I went out with just a couple of people, not seriously, just as friends, and I never had the expectation of meeting anyone in any fast time whatsoever, and the things sort of changed when I met Leena.
So in terms of, before you get to meeting Leena, what type of things were you putting in place to sort of look for a relationship or put yourself in a position where a relationship might develop?
Really to be confident and comfortable in myself. And I thought if I was in that state of mind, I had a better chance of finding somebody, and I'd probably find someone that was more suited to who I was.
Leena, yourself, once the relationship sort of ended and you embarked upon the road to transition, what were the things you were thinking about in terms of relationships?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't looking for a relationship because I felt like I was too old, done my bit, and I was just enjoying my life being me. And yeah, that's the way it went. And then one night I went out and saw this beautiful little face and and it just so happened that she lived close by me, and we went from there.
Were you both living in the country at the time, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would imagine that for both of you, you're thinking that you'd be very isolated, and that sort of chance meeting would have been rather remote at the time, would it?
Yeah, I thought it would be next to impossible. I tried to meet some people online, and it wasn't the right sort of situation. And I thought I'd have a better chance of meeting somebody just going to some of these clubs. I knew that there were some ladies in Shepparton, and there was some places in Melbourne where some of the ladies meet up, and just to make some friends. Nothing too serious, just to meet some people.
So in the similar sort of vein, when you were sort of at that going out and that, were you sort of travelling to Melbourne regularly, or?
Basically once a month. Well, I went to the Seahorse and then to the club afterwards, and yeah, I've done that for quite a few times. And like I said, then I met Theresa, gave her a lift to her hotel, but kept going. Got her number, rang her up the next day, went and had coffee, and then just started going out from there. It was great.
So how did you feel about sort of, in a sense, being picked up, as it were?
To be honest, I was over the moon about it. I thought it was fantastic, but I was also unsure about it, because not only had I not been in a relationship for a long time, but I was in a relationship as a trans person. And really there's probably not a lot of real differences, particularly from an emotional perspective. But I was still just unsure about certain things, but I really wanted to meet her because we got along so well together.
So obviously that first evening and then the coffee the next day sort of cemented a good basis for continuing meeting each other.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, we just started probably talking through the week and Skyping and that sort of thing, and on the weekends we'd just meet up and
so how surprised were you when you found out you live relatively close to each other?
Yeah, I knew that night because Michelle Blouse told me that somebody around lived in Castlemaine. And I don't know why, I just zoomed in straight on. Oh, she said Bendigo, but anyway.
Obviously that chance meeting has turned out rather beneficial for both you.
Yes.
it has. It's been fantastic.
Well, we're almost to the end of our conversation tonight, so just quickly, if you are having to give a comment about to a younger self or to somebody who is younger about coming out and relationships, how would you sum that up?
I would say that don't get too caught up on being trans or whatever designation you are. Concentrate more on yourself and the other person, your likes and dislikes and how you connect.
And would you agree with that, Leena?
Yeah, basically, it's true. Concentrate on yourself and the partner, but to also don't get hooked up on being trans
Just
after
being
boys or trans after girls. You
Right.
be yourself.
I think that's a good note to finish up on tonight. So thank you both for participating in this short discussion. I'm Greer McGearey. Thank you, Leena and Theresa, for
Thank you.
participating.
Thanks very much.